Hello, I'm Mark,
I'm Casey.
And I'm Patrick.
and today we're going to talk about FSD, but in other places. But first, Casey, let's roll that title card.
You're in a Johnny Cat.
You're watching the Tesla Life Express.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining us today. Wanted to talk a little bit about this article, which we'll link in the notes below. But this is talking about FSD expanding to other places. In this particular case, we're talking about Australia and New Zealand. But recently, Tesla has also indicated that Europe is going to be, they're trying to get regulations approved there to get it pushed into Europe as well. So this is exciting news for Tesla because, of course, many people worldwide own the cars and have been waiting for FSD to come to their neck of the woods. And a lot of people are in limbo based on what kind of regulations are required for those countries to allow it. How many hurdles do they have to overcome? What are what precedent does that country look at in order to approve some sort of an autonomous driving? And what rules and regulations will Tesla have to follow in order to perform that function in that country? So Australia, it looks like it's fairly cut and dry for them. It's looking for the FSD doesn't require any blockers or release of FSD in the region. They're a group that's going to allow it based on what they've seen in the marketplace. So they're definitely looking at what's happening in America. They're looking at what's happening in Canada, where it has been released already. And they will review what they see happen. But there's no real stopping it for certain reasons that they have outlined. So it looks like Australia may be the third country to get it. Australia/New Zealand, because it seems to be a further along than what we have heard about in Europe, in France, in Germany, and other places. But this is something that the Australians are going to be quite happy about because they always seem to get the last release when it comes to cars or new products. A lot of times Australia is at the end of the list. But here it looks like they push forward because their regulations are not impeding the release of FSD in their country. So what will be interesting, though, is as FSD does get released to these new areas, there are distinct differences in driving in those countries.
We've got different drive countries, right?
Exactly. That's one of the major reasons is that you can have cars on the opposite side of the road and opposite steering wheel or driver on the other side of the car compared to North America. But I was also thinking about some of the unusual traffic signs that FSD will come across.
Oh, yeah.
The use of different types of roundabouts, which are certainly more prevalent in Europe, although they're gaining stature here in North America. But in Europe, they were certainly early to adapt the traffic circle. And they have a number of generations ahead of us, so they look a little bit different. Some, for example, are raised in the middle to prevent drivers to see what's coming on just the other side of the traffic circle. They want you to pay attention to your 2 or 3 lanes that you're going into, not pay attention to what's coming around the traffic circle 180 degrees away from you. Whereas here in North America, a lot of those traffic circles are completely flat and you can see right across them. And they're not quite as large. If anyone's checked out that traffic circle that goes around the French monument in downtown Paris, that is a traffic circle from hell. It's like 18 lanes. It's the biggest, craziest looking traffic circle I've ever seen. But it is good.
Each one has a Dante layer that they're named after.
Some of ours are so tight that they have to be flat, so the tractor trailer can just
go over the center.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it is something that that Tesla obviously is going to have different teams working on. You know, with the successful launch in other countries, obviously they get those underneath their belt. They become more and more confident. They're able to deal with subtlety differences, different traffic signs. As mentioned, they are recording this information. Come across something quickly, they can search on that, have all the cars in the area, look for it, and then add it to the neural net so that it's prepared for the next time it comes into contact with that. But they will run into subtleties that will make them have to make a quick change here or there. That's just going to happen. I even remember in my region in Canada that there's a restaurant supply company that has adopted the stop sign as their logo, and they put it side of their building. And that really screwed up FSD, thinking that that was really a stop sign it was seeing in the distance, when it turned out it was a logo for the company name. So
I had that with that security company with the giant stop sign on the freeway.
That's right.
It doesn't stop for them anymore.
Yeah.
I was pulling into Park, and there was this teriyaki place there. Their symbol did not look at all like a stop sign. It was a big red circle. They had a bumblebee in the middle of it. But what was showing up on the screen was a big stop sign. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I don't want you to hit that building, so you should stop before you hit it. So it's no, but that was kind of weird.
I've got a new one that seems to have gone away. There was this apartment complex where it would always come to a near stop when approaching. I thought maybe it was like their like their feathers, the tall flappy flag thing. But it was always reacting like there was a kid's ball rolled out in the street. And after a while, I was like, all right, so I'm gonna look for the kid as this thing comes up, and I'm gonna tell it to go. And I haven't had to do that the last couple of times passing that place.
Cool.
But this week, yesterday, it did something that was interesting to me. There were two instances where I was ready to take over, and it did not only did it do the right thing, it did it the way I would do it, which is not
awesome.
the right way to do it. There's colloquially here when you are heavy traffic and you're approaching the turn signal, the turning, dedicated turning lanes, they just make their own lane if there's a suicide lane or any space a vehicle fits safely. They'll just make their own lanes up, and
Pretty
the
cool.
car did that, and it was a double turn lane, and so somebody was trying to turn left across all of this, the kind of left turn that makes crashes happen, and so as they got their Jeep out of the way for the leftmost of the turn lanes, my car popped the signal on and then continued on its own fake lane straight on down to the light, and we caught the light as it was turning yellow, and thankfully it was enough that I didn't have to tell it to go, because it doesn't like to it likes to stop at yellows. And we made it. But I guess there's three of them. Then there was that's two. There was a tow truck on one of those swamp roads I told you guys about. These high speed, like 55, 50 speed limit. And there was a tow truck halfway in the lane because somebody driven off the road or pushed off the road, whatever the case did. The vehicle was not on the road. And then there is no shoulder. It's the swamp. So he was halfway in the lane with the tow truck. And we're doing the speed limit. And I'm like, are you going to slow down? That was my first concern. It's like, yeah, I'm slow down. Slow down. I'm like, all right, cool. Are we going to wait? And it's like, maybe. And it slowed down some more. And like you can tell it was clocking the cars in the other lane. And then one of them, it just had the confidence that this guy was not a bad driver and he was steady. And so it just partially pulled into his lane and went. It didn't flinch or anything. Whereas there was another driver in front of him that was a little bit more shaky, and it didn't want to mess with that person. And
cool.
So it didn't hit the tow truck. It didn't hit the crashed car. And I didn't have to take over. So like I think we might maybe be past the era of fire trucks partially in the lane.
That would be a good thing for
Yeah.
sure. and so, I think this type of experience that FSD has been collecting, and of course with its updated version now into the 13s, this will bode well for those new countries as well, because they're going to be those cars will have the updated software, and they won't have that legacy as much of people unsure with a version 9 or a version 10 of the software that was shaky in many situations. So that certainly will bode well for Tesla having releasing that product onto the streets when FSD is approved to be used in those countries.
I remember those days. The car said, "Hey, welcome to FSD. Have you got clean shorts? Right over the bridge."
Yes. Yes, it has definitely evolved and learned a lot. I'm pretty excited about this just because I did some quick searching here, and in the U.S. there are about 41,000 traffic deaths per year. Australia has about 1,200 deaths per year. Even New Zealand, small New Zealand, has 340 deaths per year in 2023. And then, according to the World Health Organization, every minute there are more than 2 road traffic deaths. That's over 3,200 per day.
Wow.
And 23% of those are pedestrian deaths. So this is, that's over 1 million people a year worldwide. If this World Health Organization stat is accurate, that's horrible. I mean, if we had 1 million people dying per year from something else, we'd be doing something about it. Instead, it's just like, that's traffic. It happens. I mean, it doesn't make the paper every time. If traffic crashes and deaths made the news the way Tesla fires do, we would all be very concerned about it. And if there's a plane crash, that's major news, and there's an investigation on everyone to figure out what happened and how it can be prevented next time. And so when we get to a place where we have autonomous vehicles that are doing the driving, it's going to be more looked at like plane crashes. Why did it fail, and how can we prevent it next time? And that will be great, because that scrutiny means that it will improve. And instead of having 1 million people die, pedestrians getting hit just because they're walking on the sidewalk and someone loses control, or they're trying to cross the street because there's whatever. This could really save lives. It's really important.
Yeah, one of the next largest causes of death in this country does make the news constantly, but similarly to the cars, we won't do anything about it because it's too soon to talk about it. But what I do like about this is that it removes the distracted driver and the poor decision making from the equation. Like if we, not saying that we have to, but if we waved a wand and everything was this system as it is today, I think that it would go down so substantially it wouldn't even be funny. In the past few weeks of driving this thing, I don't think that I've seen any pedestrians that it didn't log, and like that I saw. Like, so it's even seeing people that I didn't see.
Yes.
Might have been possibly one that I didn't see on the screen, but that still doesn't mean that the car didn't see it. They must not have been not anywhere near the road or the drivable surface that it would display them. But it's so very courteous. Like there was like this one was amazing. We were going to a box store, and there was this guy. He looked like a tourist or something because he was looking at a map on his phone. He was. I was like, this guy's gonna step into traffic. Let me get ready to take over. He's gonna step into traffic. He's not looking. He doesn't have the light. He's not looking. And the car slows down, and then he steps into traffic. Yeah, I told you he's gonna step into traffic. And the car stops. And then
wow.
I was like, all right, let's see what it does. Because he was enough that we could have gone around, but really you shouldn't. And then it waited patiently for him to figure out what was going on, and then he went on his way. Thankfully, the people who were coming up to turn behind us were slower than that, because one of them would have blasted the horn and startled the crap out of him. But
maybe rightfully so, if he's that oblivious, looking at his phone, walking into traffic.
He was clearly looking at a map because he kept going like this, like, am I in the right place? So
but you still don't do that in the street.
Not in the middle of the street. Like you do that in a safe spot. Yeah.
It was in an uncontrolled. I mean, he was at a crosswalk. It was an uncontrolled turn, like, because you expect you to come in and make a quick right, and this is not going to be good, isn't it? The car handled it better than any.
Well, at least you called it and the car saw it, so that was good. That was good.
Yeah, and you were ready to take over, hit the brake, and
Anyways,
didn't do the right thing, and
Yeah.
that's all good.
So that's to say that hopefully in these other places they don't continue to have all these roadblocks, because like they can just take a vacation over to the U.S., Canada, Mexico, New Zealand, Australia, and see how it works. Like it's not like it was a couple of years ago where the thing is like super beta, blah blah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still beta, but it's all supervised, and all you have to do is spend a day with it, and then you will see that the kind of mistakes it might still make with a supervised driver are so rare that this is gonna immediately help out you. Like especially if you're in health, traffic, safety, anything like that. If that's your space in your country, you should try this system out. Probably even some of the others. They won't be as, I don't think, as good as this, but we need to, not do like that other major source of deaths and say, oh, there's nothing we can do about it.
Right.
Tragic. I mean, at least those ones make the news, but like there shouldn't be any more a case of like, oh, this is how cars work. They're gonna take pedestrians out. They don't have to.
Yeah.
Right.
Speaking of making the news, we should turn this around to our audience. And what are you seeing in your news media? If you're not from the U.S. or Canada, have you seen anything about FSD coming to your country? Is there any news whatsoever, good or bad, that you see, or is this completely flying under the radar as far as your local news is? It would be interesting to hear from you in the comments about what you see in your particular neck of the woods.
Yeah, and this is FSD supervised. We're talking separate than any sort of robotaxi or anything that's
Right.
been promised for the future.
Yep.
Where you
Just
can talk about
FSD supervised. Yep.
Yeah, you can talk about those things. Just say, hey, this is not FSD. I'm talking about taxis. Or I'm talking about something that was promised a while ago or something.
Exactly.
We're talking about it.
Yeah. How long until Tesla licenses to somebody else? That's the one I'm curious about.
That'll be the big thing, won't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Patrick, what do you got for shout outs this week?
As always, I'm with the Oregon Electric Vehicle Association. You can find us at oeva.org, and I blog occasionally at carswithcords.net, where I write about my future free from fossil fuels.
That's right.
Very good. Casey, what do you got?
Catch us live on Wednesday,
What time on Wednesday?
7 p.m. Eastern.
There you go.
4 p.m. Pacific.
All right, everyone. Thanks.
They'll let you know.
Thanks so much for watching with us. If you haven't already, please give us a thumbs up. Press that subscribe button. Helps us out immensely. Would really appreciate it. And we will catch you next time and find out together what's happening in the Tesla life.